my second video on Valentine's Day will be about something that I love, namely Star Wars. So this past weekend I saw Star Wars Phantom Menace 3D twice in the theaters, and I saw it on Friday where I went for free because a friend gave me tickets to a screening, and on Saturday I actually paid for the shit. So let me just start off by saying that 2 3D movies 2 days in a row is pretty much the most that I can take, because on the second viewing on Saturday I got a horrible headache while watching the movie. It's kind of hard to talk about Phantom Menace or about Star Wars in general from an objective point of view. First of all, because everything that negative that could have been said about Phantom Menace and the prequels in general has already been said. And also because it's very hard to separate myself from Star Wars and from what it means for me and for my life. But just kind of talking about the general experience of seeing Phantom Menace in the theaters again. First of all, I gotta say again that, you know, I mentioned this in another video. The first time I ever saw Phantom Menace, when I was a kid, I was horribly sick. I was cold. I had a terrible cold that day when I was like 12 or 13. This year, I had the cold again when I saw the fucking thing. It's amazing. Like, I had a terrible cold last week. On Friday, it was the worst. On Saturday, it was better. But I just feel like, oh, the fucking irony of the thing that a cold, like, stalks me for over a decade so I can't, you know, properly watch Phantom Menace. But going back to the review of the experience. From a technical point of view, I think the movie holds up pretty damn well. I didn't think it looked dated at all. The 3D, no, I don't really care about the 3D, but I will say that the pod racing looked pretty good. With the pod racing, I always liked the sound editing a lot. I liked the noises that the pod racers made. I don't know why. I just thought it was interesting sound editing and sound mixing. When the battle between Qui-Gon, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was at the end, you know, first time I ever saw Phantom Menace, I thought that the duel at the end of the movie was like the greatest thing ever. But this time, it felt a little short. It felt truncated. It felt like, you know, just when they really started to hit each other, oh, now we gotta follow Anakin with, you know, R2-D2 on his back, like going off to do something, or those idiots in the palace doing their thing, and it just felt like the ending felt a lot more chaotic than the first time I saw it in the theaters. The acting seemed a lot worse this time around from everybody. I don't know, just it seemed worse for some reason. Like, every single word that Jake Lloyd said just pissed me off. I will say that it was fascinating to see it with kids in the theater, because kids were eating this shit up. I mean, I swear, George Lucas is a diabolical genius. He knew exactly how to make this movie to attract the young viewer, okay? Like, they loved freaking Jar Jar. They knew who Darth Maul was. They knew instinctively that Darth Maul was the bad guy. I mean, come on, he's like red, black, horns, evil, duh. All in all, if I were to recommend Phantom Menace, I would say, you know, if you're a Star Wars fan like me, just see it so you can, you know, you can prove to other people that, you know, 10, 13, 15 years down the line, however long it's been, it still looks pretty good compared to other movies. I mean, it's still like, I think that Phantom Menace and Matrix kind of initiated this whole CGI craze that we have now, but Phantom Menace still looks pretty good, and come on, even Matrix looks good. So yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should see it just so you can prove to yourself that, at least technically speaking, it's still a pretty good movie. If you're not a Star Wars fan, but if you have kids, or if you have younger siblings, you should definitely take them, because they'll enjoy it, and, you know, it might make Star Wars fans out of them, and even if that starts with prequels, it's still pretty awesome. But if you're not a Star Wars fan, and if you don't have kids, or if you don't have younger siblings, or just not any connection with kids, or any connection with this universe, then don't go see it, because adding that third dimension is not going to convert anybody.